Thank you so much for being so patient until we set up the system. Let's just dive right into it. So we are coming from Hungary, from Krishna Valley, and this is a place that was basically funded on the concept of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was born in 1986, and he was preparing actually for a life to go to the West and take Vedic knowledge translated into English to the Western world. So he was 70 years old when he went to New York with a translation of a lot of Indian Vedic scriptures, like the Bhagavad-gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. He wrote more than 70 books over his life. And the Krishna Valley model that is based on these teachings, the Vedic scriptures and the Vedic teachings. So let's see Krishna Valley at a glance. We started 31 years ago, so it's 3 decades. There are 8 divisions, it's not written, but more than 50 departments. There are 12,000 pilgrims annually. There are 25,000 tourists. There are 50 students in our own school that's there, but we will be speaking about that later. 130 Krishna devotees are living on the property. You can see those houses over there. And there are 260 who are living off campus, who are also Krishna devotees, but living in the village nearby because they could not live in a community like that.
Krishna Valley also has attracted the attention. No, I have my mic, don't worry. Krishna Valley has attracted the attention of educational institutions and scientific research groups as well, because it's like a big experiment for sustainability. And in the last 30 years, more than 150 papers was born. Mostly these are theses, college theses, university theses, and publications, other publications. They cover very different fields of sciences, for example, environmental sciences, sociology, cultural anthropology, soul science, agriculture. So from very different angles, scientists and scholars studied Krishna Valley, and we think it's very important and useful for Krishna Valley and for the scientific community as well, because we can analyze how successful this experiment is at the moment and what is the way to develop it. And the result at the moment shows, we hope there will be more at time, but we are very effective on many fields of sustainability, and the cooperation between research groups, universities and Krishna Valley is very fruitful, because through the publications the data are available for scientists and also available for the general public. So we help science by giving data, and they help Krishna Valley by distributing these data.
So we try to move. Okay, there we are. So when we speak about sustainability, there is an important aspect to understand, and that's the difference in between self-sufficiency and sustainability. Krishna Valley is not self-sufficient. It will never be self-sufficient. We cannot produce metal or glass for our houses, so we have to buy those things from other places. But Krishna Valley is certainly sustainable in many aspects. And if you're interested, it's a whole separate discussions, the 10 circles of sustainability and self-sufficiency, and that leads us to a network of eco-communities. But let's just see how sustainability is only a side effect. So as I was speaking about Srila Prabhupada and the teachings and the Vedic scriptures, so when we follow these, then sustainability is only a side effect. we did not create Krishna Valley to have a sustainable eco-community. We created Krishna Valley so that for our children, we could have an environment where they can be raised according to our scriptures. That was all. And for that, we enhanced biodiversity. We planted more than 400,000 trees. The bird species grew within 30 years, grew from 25 to 125 species, just because we enhanced biodiversity. And this is an eco-footprint study that was conducted on Krishna Valley. So at the present moment, 1.54 hectares per capita is the ecological footprint of the Krishna Valley inhabitants. The biological capacity is 2.28 hectares. Compared to Hungary's average 3.3, I mean, we are less than half of that. It is sustainable. And there was also another study that said if everyone in the world would live like we live in Krishna Valley, then there would be no issues for hosting at least 12 billion people on the world. Okay, so that goes a bit further away, but this is really interesting. And you can see that was in 93 when we bought the place. And this is how it looks now. 330 hectares of land. I mean, that's a huge land. And we just converted the whole thing so that it can be a model community. Let's speak a little about education, because that's why we are here. Just 3 pictures, but let's go back to the beginning. So in 93, there were 2 students. Both of them are teachers at the moment in the school. And they were homeschooled. And over the 30 years, we established and accredited a kindergarten, an elementary school, a high school, giving proper degrees and education based on the Hungarian national curriculum. Plus, we developed our own syllabus. So we are teaching based on our Krishna conscious scriptures, and we try to develop the methodologies that could change from the present straightforward teaching that I speak, you listen, you write, and then you just give the exam, and then that's it. What we try to do is we give practical experience. We have adventure-based teaching, and we have the 64 arts. How many of you have heard of the 64 arts? There's
But
one.
I don't remember that.
Good. But you don't count. 64 arts. So all of these things are really important for the children. 64 arts include leadership education. It includes a lot of arts and crafts. It includes a lot of things. Like you can see that's my older daughter who's making the block painting on a sari. And the paint that they are using, those are derived from plants that are available there in Krishna Valley. So this practical knowledge is so important for everyone there in Krishna Valley. The practical experience is primary. And what's really interesting is that all the kids from grade 5 until grade 12, they have the chance to explore themselves in 30 different occupations. They can choose which one they are interested in. And if they are interested in, then they can go and they can explore twice a week. And by the end of the 12th grade, maybe they will not know what they would like to do, but for sure they will know what they would not like to do. And I think that's really important. Can you imagine children coming out from the school knowing what they would like to do, and they already experienced 30 different occupations? And adventure, joy, happiness, that's the foundation of the whole education?
It was the internal education in our community, but we also emphasized the outreach education. So Krishna Valley organizes workshops and seminars on 12 different topics. For example, water management, regenerative agriculture, or gardening, or vegetarian cooking, and these semesters and workshops repeat year by year. I would like to highlight one specific method of Krishna Valley, the regenerative agriculture. That means we focus on the quality of the soil, protecting the microbial life in the soil, because it's very important for agriculture, and modern type agriculture kills the soil, kills the life in the soil. We try to protect it. Very often we cover the soil by plant material. It protects it for drying out, for too much sun or too much water or other type of erosion. And we don't move the soil very much. No turning, no plowing. We only loosen the soil occasionally, and it protects the life in the soil. And this method, we use it in the last few years, and it's very effective. The crop yield increased. For example, in leafy vegetables, the yield is doubled during this period. So it's completely a biological way to cultivate the land and protect the land, and at the same time it's very effective. I would like to highlight one other aspect related to water management. This is the reed bed zone sewage system which operates in Krishna Valley to clean the wastewater. Wastewater, this is a very natural type of sewage system. Operates in different phases. The solids are removed, and then almost completely purified water flows into an insulated basin with reeds. And the reed itself cleans the water biologically, removes the remaining impurities, and the result is almost completely pure water. So the efficiency, according to the research of this system, is 97% purification in the process, practically the same as the most modern sewage system, using many types of chemicals and very complicated machinery for cleaning the wastewater. So this is one example that nature can do what technology can do, only we have to know the process from the past or invent it in the present. And we also mentioned, Zoltan mentioned the tourism in Krishna Valley. When tourists came, we explain everything to them for hours, so they see how a self-sufficient community should work, although we are not perfect, but we try, and in many fields we are successful. So we explain it them, we explain it to the pilgrims. So it became a very well-known example of sustainability, not only in Hungary, but nowadays in Europe or all over the world. Okay, that's also my topic. That's the academic collaboration. At the introduction I mentioned a few data related to this. So we have contract with 11 institutions, universities and research groups. Not all of these relationships are active, but has the potency of future research, but some of them active at the moment. From one hand, we are the site of research. They came to research Krishna Valley from different point of view. And on the other hand, we are collaborating partner to them for common publications or some common projects. I mentioned the thesis and publications which was written about Krishna Valley. Zoltan explained the eco-footprint success of Krishna Valley. So we are on the edge of our leg, very small, this eco-footprint. And I explained the soil management, and there were some data about biodiversity, about the birds. And I would like to add only one more data. 1,400 different species of plants are present in Krishna Valley, including the botanical garden. A well-developed botanical garden is present there. So these are not only Hungarian species, but brought from different very special type also. But it's a real biodiversity, 1,400 different type of plants. From the institutions, I would like to emphasize one institution, the Bhaktivedanta College, where I teach, in Budapest. It belongs to the same institution, International Society for Krishna Consciousness. It gives the principles for Krishna Valley, and in Budapest we teach yoga, we teach the basics of Hinduism and the ethics behind Hinduism. And we have a 1.5 year specialization for sustainability for the yoga students and for the theology students too. And they not only hear about sustainability, but they go to Krishna Valley for 2 weeks for internships in summertime, and they practice gardening and practice non-violent animal husbandry, which is also important for us to not kill animals. So they have first-hand experience about sustainable life, and at the moment we have 250 students, so it's also an effective way of educate sustainability. Your turn.
Impact and future directions. So I'm pretty sure that you all have read Limits to Growth. That was released in 72, and then again 30 years later, and then 50 years later. So this is something how we see limits to growth in practical application. And this is something what we all should do. Put limits to growth principles into practice. Through education, we can reach 25,000 tourists every year, 12,000 pilgrims, the students over there, the students there, the collaboration with all the universities and colleges. And now the future is continue the research, continue the dissemination, and now we have to focus on creation. We would need to create more communities like Krishna Valley, but not based on Krishna consciousness, based on other religions. And we already started discussing this with a Buddhist community. We already started discussing this with 2 Christian communities there in Hungary. That we have 30 years of experience. It would be really good if this community development experience could be implemented in all of the other places, so we can see how the world can be changed by action.
It was one kind of conclusion. The second part of the conclusion, Krishna Valley is a great example of a sustainable, almost sustainable community, and how it can have good relationship with universities and scientific world, and we should develop this because the results are visualized and spread through research and publications. Zoltan mentioned the limits of growth. I would like to mention one quote, very short but strong quote from this book. We have reached the limits of physical growth. Science must recognize that internal growth is necessary for the survival of humanity. So we also encourage this. The motto of Krishna Valley is simple living, high thinking. So this is our ideal. And you are all invited to come to Hungary, see Krishna Valley from close. You can bring groups also. You can make research if you want. And you can see some ecologists say that the ideal world system would be a network of self-sustaining communities, villages, towns, small cities, not so big cities. But how to do it? Where is the example? Where is the model? So we would like to show some example. It is based in spirituality and it's effective because we have common values there, but it can be copied, it can be replicated in other religions, or there are non-religious eco-farm, communities also. So we are ready and we are happy to share experiences, share the best practices and help others. So let's try to build together self-sufficient communities and see how can it bless the world.
Thank you so much.
So maybe 2 or 3 questions, short questions with short answers, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. Just 2 questions, 2 short questions, which I didn't ask you during our 7 hours of driving because we were traveling to here together. So my first question is, do you recognize any influences of Krishna Valley to your immediate neighbors, to your closest neighbors or neighboring communities? That's the first one. The second one is that one of the greatest agricultural problem or productional problem in Hungary is water storage. Do you collect water, like rainwater, and do you use or store water for production? Thank you.
Absolutely crucial questions. Answers yes, yes. You wanted short answers. Yes. So I was the deputy mayor of the village, the neighboring village, for quite some time, and I was in the mayor's council for 15 years or so. So we try to implement some of these things in the village. Also, that's the immediate, real immediate environment. But we can see that there are a lot of tourists who start implementing these things at their home. And they are coming back regularly to learn more, and they go home and they implement. And in regards to water management, there were no lakes in Krishna Valley. Now we have 12. And all of the lakes are rainwater harvesting lakes. Because we need it. We just really need that. There is one thing, it's water management, and that's one of my favorite topics. Anyway, there are a 6-step water management system in Krishna Valley to reduce evaporation, to reduce all the environmental effects that are there because of climate change at the moment. But we store, at a time, we store usually about 8,000 cubic meters of water.
Yes, thank you very much. Very impressive with all the numbers which you demonstrated. My question is twofold. What is spirituality in your work? What is the spirituality and how do you practice it?
Thank you. So we did not speak so much about the spiritual aspect of it. We can talk a lot about it. Short answer, we have a really solid spiritual program that starts at 4:30 in the morning in the temple. And that's followed by a 2-hour meditation. That's followed by another, we call it kirtan, as Sahibji was also speaking about kirtan in the introduction. And then we have a lecture from our scriptures, usually from the Srimad Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad-gita. And then we go and we do all our services. And then in the evening, we call it the sandwich program, spiritual programs in the morning, spiritual programs in the evening. So we have similar thing in the evening. But what's more important is there is a Vedic aphorism saying, Smartavya satatam Vishnu vismartavyo najatuchit. You always have to remember Krishna, or you always have to remember God and never forget him. Everything that we developed in Krishna Valley helps that. Because if we always think of God and we understand that this is his creation, we want to maintain it and keep it as close as possible as it was created by him. And if we do that, then it will be sustainable. If we try to use it for our own benefit, it will be destroyed. So wherever we go, whatever we do, there are 600 holy places in Krishna Valley. This is a extension, I would say, or a memorial of a holy place in India called Vrindavan. Vrindavan is in between Delhi and Agra, right there, halfway, Mathura and Vrindavan. And there are more than 600 holy places. And wherever we go, we can always remember Krishna. And that's the goal. Because if we remember him, then we will clean our heart from, okay, this is philosophy, but it's okay. We will clean our heart from pride, illusion, anger, and all of these things. Greed also. There are 6 main things that we will get rid of. Lust, anger, greed, pride, illusion, and envy. These are the 6 main things. And as we clean our heart, we will get closer to God. So that's the spiritual aspect of it.